Crafty Journaler, welcome to the Crafty Journaler. My name is Sarah and this is my channel where I do a lot of fun crafts for junk journaling. I also do a lot of other content related to junk journaling, so if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification bell, and let a friend know that we're here. That way we could grow this channel together. So this video is going to be a continuation of the first video of quilted paper, and now we're going to do the second version of the quilted paper that we're making here. So yesterday or today I actually posted up the video that I took yesterday, just a couple of minutes ago, and now I am doing this one. So this is the one we did yesterday that you're probably seeing today, or probably saw it earlier, and this is the second part. So this is the one that we're going to do today, this version, which is the overlapping of the paper instead of like the face-to-face sandwich method kind of thing. So we're going to basically do the same thing where we take the paper that we've already pre-cut, but instead of doing, like I said, the sandwich method, we are going to overlap a little bit at a time. So we'll put one over the other, and then we're going to zigzag it. So right here we're going to use a zigzag stitch, and then we're just going to do a set of four little square paper here. And then after that, we'll connect all our chains together. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take you over to the sewing machine so that we could sew the last chain for this pattern paper that we're going to do. Okay, we've set up our camera, and now we're going to go ahead and get started here. So what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to overlap one paper over the other. So for example, I have these two. I am going to slightly put one over the other. I would say it's about a fourth of an inch, maybe a little bit less than a fourth. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. And now we're going to put our petal down. We're going to find the zigzag stitching on our machine, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. So for this one, I am actually not going to be going back and forth at the beginning and at the end. I don't really think it's necessary for this one because you're not really maneuvering it the same way as the other one. So just going to sew through like so. And then we're just gonna cut out our thread there. I have a little pile of black thread going over there, and then we're gonna pick a different piece of paper. And if you can see here, I actually have this one going upside down. So this one I'm gonna overlap it, but I'm gonna face it the right side up. Okay. Again, we pull out and cut out the thread. Cut out the thread. Now we're gonna grab a different paper, And I am again going to put it, actually instead of using one of these, let's use one of these. Okay, so we're gonna place it again right over, and then we're gonna do it this way, because if you could see on this side right here, the paper is facing with the right side up towards the outside. So I'm doing the same thing on this side, facing the right side up towards the outside of this. And I feel that that just like gives your eye a little something to look at, kind of like it gives that little dancing kind of thing to your eye where there's a lot to explore. I don't know if I explained that right. In my head, it made perfect sense. So I hope that in your head or in your ears, it's making the same amount of sense. Okay, and now we have this. So now we're going to cut this out right here and do the same right here. So as you can see, this paper here is a little shorter than the rest, and I am going to just eyeball cut that out. Like so. And there we go. So now I'm going to grab the other ones that I have over here. And I'm also going to grab my glue stick here. This is the one that I'm going to be using. And we're going to just want to make sure that you could kind of see what I'm doing. I think in the last video it was a little hard to see some parts, but I'm hoping this one won't be as hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a little bit of glue, of the glue stick, along the edge. And then I am going to overlap this one like so. And the reason I'm doing that is because the last time that I did this, I wasn't doing that. And some of the paper moved a lot to where the point where a lot of it got either like cut off or it looked a little crooked, which was a little too crooked for my liking. I am a fan of happy accidents, but there's a limit to my happy accidents. So we're gonna do that and see if that'll help us out this time around. So again, I am gonna go ahead and glue a little bit of that. And I'm being very light because I'm gonna be sewing on this, so to me it just doesn't seem smart to use a whole lot of glue, because at the end of the day I'm gonna make the machine do all the heavy lifting for the security of it. And just like last time, I'm trying to keep at least the middle stitch even with the rust and not worrying too much about the other one, because again, I'm going to sew this down and it'll kind of camouflage it. I feel that you notice more when things are at the middle as opposed to these right here. So you'll end up with something like this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sew this one down, and then I'll repeat the process for the other two pieces off camera, and that way it'll be a more digestible video this time around. Just because it's very repetitive, and although it's fun to look at, sometimes once you see it, you'll be able to recreate it at home for yourself. So let's go ahead and get that going. And all I'm doing is making sure that this stays kind of straight. I'm not really, again, trying to overthink it because I can. I'm an overthinker at heart, so I can overthink it, but I'm choosing not to, which is helpful for somebody like me. Now, if it's not helpful for you, I would say, just take your time, measure things very precisely, and mark exactly where you want things to land, and that way you don't face these type of situations where something is not meeting completely even, like here. I don't mind it. Again, I feel like it's kind of cute. So but if you feel like you would, I would say just make sure that every single piece is cut out to the same size, and to make sure that you're overlapping on the same side of the papers, that you're measuring the same amount of distance in each of these little stitches, so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other two, and then we'll meet up again once I'm done. Okay, and I'm back, and this is what we ended up with right here. So, here we go. There we go. And honestly, I love how this came out. I'm really excited to keep making some more because I did cut out quite a few little squares of paper and stuff, thinking that I didn't really think it through actually. So I was just like, oh, I'm gonna cut a lot and mass make a couple of these now that I'm feeling it or whatever. So, but yes, this is the second version of the quilting that I did. I know I'm not the first one to create something like this. I know I've seen these in different of the girls here on YouTube. I've also seen them on TikTok, so it's not per se my creation. I just got inspiration off of that movie I mentioned in the first video. And I'm really excited. I've never made it to this level, but I've made some stuff like this. So I'm pretty excited. They look all very unique and individually different, and I'm excited to see what I do with them. Just a refresher of the one we did yesterday. And then I actually worked on this one as well, which is the first one I made. Kind of wanted to make sure it laid a little bit flatter and stuff like that. So kind of cut it apart and redid a part of it. Then I added a different little kind of pattern with the sewing and ended up with this. Honestly, love it. And with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that fun algorithm-y thing that the social media channels like so much, whether it's here, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I've noticed that the more you interact with things, the more it promotes those content creators. And a little food for thought is we should always be willing to call a duck a duck. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you guys next time. That's a wrap. Okay, bye.